I'm waiting to see Matt Riddle turn it up a notch because I go a ways back with this guy. I saw him at UFC 124 in Montreal, and Peter and I both thought he had a good fight there, but he didn't get the W over Sean Pearson. It was a unanimous decision in his opponent's favor, and it's okay that he's been with UFC forever, but it's not like he's ever had a title shot either.
Yeah, but then again, even UFC needs its, guys who stick around and can put up a good fight.
I'm just asking you to make a pick, Jay Mills or Matt Riddle.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to give it to Shay Mills just because it seems like a win would be more beneficial for him.
I don't think that's wrong. I think he's more of the up-and-coming fighter, and he'll get a big reaction for it. As I said, he's the hometown fighter here, if you can call fighting out of Gloucester or Gloucester. That's another one of those ones. I know I'm getting it wrong because it's like when you see WRCESTER out in New England, you don't think it's Worcester. So it's probably Gloucester, just like it's Worcester. But
yes, it is pronounced Gloucester.
Okay, well, Gloucester it is then. And I think beautiful Shay Mills is going to get a knockout here.
Seems reasonable.
All right, well, let's move on to James Te-Huna and Ryan Jimmo at light heavyweight. What do you think about this one, Kevin?
I'm a big Ryan Jimmo fan, so I'm going to go with him on that one. I don't have any reason to go against James Te-Huna. I mean, he's won both of his fights that he fought last year. He was 1-1 the year before. Fights pretty decent guys, but I'm pretty high on Ryan Jimmo. I like his stock. I mean, great, only one loss ever in his career. That was his first fight way back in 2007. And it's not like Jimmo fights, bad guys either. He's got his UFC debut win over Anthony Perosh by KO. He's got everything going for him right now.
The only fight I ever saw him even look a little bit bad in was the Sokoju fight in MFC, and he won a razor close decision on that one because for the first and I think possibly only time ever, they used half points in scoring the round. So it ended up being something like 48.5 to 47.5. It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And it was a title fight too, I believe, right?
Right. Why would you experiment with a new scoring system in a title fight? That seems like the wrong place and time, but I'm not the athletic commission out of that province of Canada, so I can't really say what motivated them for that, but needless to say, he did pick up the win, and he, as you said, he only has one loss in his career, and he got a stellar knockout of Anthony Perosh and nearly set the UFC record for the fastest knockout ever. I think it was one of those cases where if the referee had been a little closer to being in position, he would actually have that record right now.
Yes, quite possibly.
But needless to say, I expect big things from Ryan Jimmo here. So with no disrespect to James Te-Huna, I'm going to pick him as well. So we're going to need a fight to break the momentum here, something we can disagree on. Let's see if it's Gunnar Nelson and Jorge Santiago at welterweight.
I got a feeling that we're not going to have any disagreement on here. Jorge Santiago is very much the veteran, 35 fights under his belt. As of late, he's, of course, that's relatively speaking. As of late, you have to go back like 3 years to where he starts coming up with some losses. But he comes up with some losses against some really big guys, and not in an easy manner either. Damian Maia had to take 3 rounds to get a decision win. Brian Stann, it took him just a little bit into the second round to get a KO win from him from that. He's fought some okay guys, but I like Gunnar Nelson's chances on this. I think he's a lot younger guy. He's completely undefeated. His last fight was against DeMarcus Johnson. Got a real nice rear naked choke submission out of that. Also pulled off a nice armbar submission against Alexander Batenko. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Gunnar Nelson on this, and I think you are too.
Yeah, you predicted correctly. Besides the fact he's named Gunnar, which I think is one of the most awesome names a fighter can have.
Reminds you of a Street Fighter character, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. His name is Gunnar Nelson, and he's from Reykjavik. How much more awesome can you get than that? It just makes you want to cheer for the guy. And being that he's 10-0-1, he's never had a loss in his career. And he's, as you said yourself, he's younger, he's hungrier. It's not like it hurts Jorge to take a loss here if he does. So I kind of feel like they've set him up to make Gunnar look good.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it as well.
All right, then we'll move on to light heavyweight bout, Jimmy Manuwa and Cyril Diabate. I'll go ahead and put in my prediction right now for Cyril, but what do you think?
That's kind of how I'm leaning on this one as well. I mean, nothing against Jimmy Manuwa. He's a good guy. He got a nice win over Kingsboo last time on the UFC on Fuel 5 card. But yeah, I'm just feeling Diabate a little bit more on this one. I think this will probably come to a decision.
Yeah, I don't even know that it's going to go to a decision because, honestly, I feel like the fact that he owns a rear naked choke submission over Chad Gravedigger Griggs, and he also owns a kickboxing win over Michael the Count Bisping, I think he's going to do tremendously in this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree with you there.
All right. We also have Cub Swanson versus Dustin Poirier on this card.
Yeah, we do. And I really like Cub Swanson a lot. I'm going to take him on this one as well. I think this one is going to be really close. I'm going to say Swanson gives Poirier his first knockout.
Well, we finally got a fight we're going to disagree on because I'm going to go with Dustin the Diamond Poirier. I think he wins by submission. I think he takes it to the ground and finds a way to tap him out.
Well, possibly. Swanson is susceptible to the tap out.
Mm-hmm. So, well, at least we're not going to go unanimous on the whole card, but let's see how we do, what we think on Renan Barao and Michael McDonald.
I've not made up my mind on this yet. You go first.
All right. Renan Barao, I've been a big fan of his ever since he made his UFC debut because, as I keep saying every time we discuss him, he is amazingly quick. I literally don't think there is a faster fighter in all of fighting right now. The way Renan Barao moves, it literally defines don't blink or you'll miss something. That's how fast he's able to do it. And, he's not been given easy opponents in UFC since he made his debut. I mean, he went against the likes of Scott Jorgensen and got a decision, and Uriah Faber and got a decision. And, there's no cakewalks for this guy, and yet he keeps on winning. He's undefeated for something like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years now, going all the way back to his very first fight in 2005. So that should tell you how much of a phenom Renan Barao is.
Yeah, and, he lost his first fight in his debut in 2005, and then there's a no contest in 2007.
Yeah, and a no contest is not a loss, so technically he's undefeated since 2005. That's pretty fucking amazing if you ask me, but Michael McDonald may be his best test yet because he is also on quite a streak. He hasn't lost since 2009, and he's not getting pushover fighters either. He's beaten UFC veterans like Chris Curacao and Miguel Torres. So it's a coin toss almost, but I gotta favor the interim champion because he is the interim champion for a reason. He just works a little harder and moves a little quicker than everybody else. And even though McDonald has knockout power, he's got to catch him to hit him.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm coming to a conclusion here as well. He can get the knockouts if he won them. But you got to look at kind of who he's gotten those knockouts against. He's got a knockout win against Cole Escovedo when Cole is not quite at his top game. He got that really surprising knockout over Miguel Torres. I don't think he's going to knock out Barao here, and I think Barao is going to end up with a good win.
All right. Well, we're going unanimous on all of them except for one fight.